Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So today again we are back with the daily current affairs capsule, and today we are going to discuss the current affairs of 20th May. This session has been brought to you by Himalaya IAS classes. So the new batches for IAS 2021 and KAS examination in both Kannada and English medium are getting started. If you want to join us, please visit www.himalayaiasclasses.com, or you can reach out to us on the given number. So let's get started with today's current affairs, which we have picked from the Hindu, and the important points for today's newspaper, which are relevant for the examination point of view, are new guidelines for the workplace, Amphan Evacuation, Andhra Pradesh gas leak, Chinese diplomacy and Pakistan and terrorism, Migrants Issue in India, and World Health Organization. So let's get started with the first news item for today, which is the new guidelines has been issued by Health Ministry for the workplace. Okay, so all of us know that this is the COVID lockdown situation where the restrictions are being eased. Okay, so now no closing of the offices. You don't need to shut down the offices if there are one or two cases. If there is a large outbreak, then the offices has to be closed down for 48 hours and then it has to be disinfected. The physical distance of 1 meter has to be maintained while working in the office at all times, plus wearing of mask and covering of face is mandatory. Also, till now, we are still going with the hydroxychloroquine, the drug for treating this coronavirus infection in India, and still it is under review. Until then, we are continuing to use this. So these were the important points. So let's move towards this Amphan evacuation plan. So today there were 3 news articles related to it. Okay, so I have covered all these points. So this has weakened slightly, this cyclone, which is being called as super cyclone. Okay, means it is going to be very strong after a long time, and it has weakened slightly. It is supposed to landfall somewhere in West Bengal and Bangladesh. Till now, 3.35 lakh people have been evacuated from the areas which are going to get impacted. Wind speed, which is expected, okay, so it is going to get slowed down a little bit when it will hit the east coast of India, and we are expecting the wind speeds of 155 to 165 kilometer per hour. These numbers are not important. This is just to give you the idea of the situation, okay. Other impacts will be heavy rainfall plus storm surges. See, storm surges is the rise in the sea level because of strong winds. Okay, 36 teams of National Disaster Response Force have been deployed in the regions, plus Army, Navy, Air Force and the Coast Guard. They have kept on standby in case of urgent action. Okay, also this lockdown situation is helping the control measures because already there are less people outside. Okay, also the third news item which relates to the why we are facing more frequent cyclones in the Bay of Bengal, because more temperature helps cyclone formation. Also, it is the source of energy. The heat and the moisture in the ocean is the source of energy for the cyclones. So Bay of Bengal, we are monitoring higher temperatures, which is because of global warming. Okay. Next news item relevant for the exam point of view is related to Andhra Pradesh gas leak. So all of us know that in Andhra Pradesh, Visakhapatnam, LG Polymers, and in that plant, styrene gas that got leaked, and because of which many people died and many got hospitalized. So NGT, National Green Tribunal, has taken the suo motu cognition of the case, and it has passed a judgment asking to give 50 crore to LG Polymer as an interim compensation to the affected persons. Okay. Also, it has appointed a 5-member fact-finding committee for inquiry. Supreme Court has said that it is not going to interfere in this verdict. Okay, and this is related to styrene gas which leaked from LG Polymers in the Visakhapatnam. The next 2 articles which are mentioned in today's paper is related to the changing nature of Chinese diplomacy plus the more dynamic clashes which are happening on India-China border. So again, I've compiled them in one itself. So earlier, what is this article is trying to say that unilateralism and one-size-fits-all approach is replacing persuasion and compromise. So earlier, Chinese foreign policy was relying more on persuasion and compromise, but now it is going more for unilateralism, means not accommodating other people's interest, just doing what it thinks fits for itself. Okay, so it has given the evolution of Chinese foreign policy. Mao Zedong, he was a strong leader who believed that power flows from the barrel of the gun. He was the leader of the Chinese Revolution. After that, Zhou Enlai, he was the principal architect, and his belief was in the persuasion that he showed in the Korean War, even in the Vietnamese Independence War, even during the Asian Conference. What it says that Zhou believed in persuasion and keeping a calm profile, and whenever needed, he went and he showed his strength. For example, in Korean War, first when US was intervening in the Korean Wars in 1950s, first he told US through India that okay, if they crossed 38th parallel or they came towards the Chinese border, then we are going to attack them. Okay, not directly confronting US. And once US did that, then definitely Chinese forces attacked the United States. Same they did in the Vietnam also. Okay, no direct influence, but more relying on the persuasion. This was called as United Form Tactics. This is editing mistake. Form tactics. Okay, no isolation. The country has to be in talking with other countries. Solidarity with non-aligned countries, countries who were not the part of any power blocks during the Cold War, and trying to divide the Western powers, okay, to make their own way. Then same policies were followed by Deng Xiaoping, okay, who became the Chinese premier in 1980s. His strategy was known as 24 character strategy: observe calmly, secure position, low profile, hide capacities. Okay, that was the time in 1990s when all roads leads to Beijing became popular. That means even George Bush, the American president, and Mikhail Gorbachev, the Russian president, they both visited Beijing. Okay, so that means like both the blocks of the Cold War, they went to Beijing and tried to make more contacts in it. Now the same thing has been replaced by arrogance. Okay, in place of calmness, they are resorting to stick, means forced measure, in place of the earlier policy of persuasion. They are relying more on unilateralism instead of compromise, and they are trying to avenge, it looks like, the century of humiliation. The time period from 1850s to 1950s, the time of imperialism, and it is considered as humiliation period for China. The other article which talks about the increasing Indian-Chinese clashes in the boundary regions. We have recently seen that in Sikkim this took place, in Ladakh it took place. So the reason for that is being given as because we have built the border infrastructure now, we have built the border roads, and Indians are doing more patrolling in those areas. Because of that, there is more frequent clashes which is happening. Okay. So moving to the next article for today, that talks about Pakistan and the terrorism. It talks about how Pakistan started fostering the terrorism on its own soil, and now how it is fighting against Pakistan itself. Okay, so terror organization created by Pakistan have turned against them. Deliberate policy of creating and fostering terror groups. First, it started in 1973 towards Afghanistan. Okay, when Soviets, and it was part of Cold War, Soviet and United States were fighting each other. Soviet withdrawal happened in 1988. Then there were large number of fighters which were propagated by the Pakistan with the American help. Now they were left with no cause. Okay, so then the same forces were applied in Kashmir for insurgency. Okay, but this long association with the terror groups in Pakistan has also led to radicalization of their own population. Okay, result what happens? There are some terrorist group like Lashkar-e-Taiba, which receives military patronage because it does only what Pakistan state allows them or Pakistani military allows them to do. But there are also some like Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, some terrorist group which are fighting in the Pakistan itself because they don't put themselves in the line with the Pakistan. So this is a result of the terrorist organization when you try to keep them and you try to foster them. Next article in today's paper talks about the migrants issue. So the important points related to exam: the migrants, they make 80% of the non-agricultural employment in the informal sector. So what it is trying to say here is informal sector jobs. Informal sector jobs are those jobs where no social security benefits, PF, insurance is available. Okay, like construction, daily wage earners, laborers. So they make 80% of non-agricultural employment. Now during this COVID crisis, when the work is not available, the activities are not happening, they are not able to earn their daily wages. In that point of time, they have become very vulnerable, and because they don't have enough to eat, so they have to migrate on their foot. That is a tragic situation. On top of it, one more thing what this article tries to focus on is a lot of states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, they have quashed the labor laws. Already there are existing labor laws in place which are not able to protect these people, okay, because of poor implementation. And going a step further and repealing all those laws or quashing all those laws is going to make these migrant workers more vulnerable. So some of the examples is like Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of 1979 and Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2008, which are already there in force, but because of poor implementation, they are not benefiting these people. Okay, more or less, they contribute, these informal sector employees or migrant laborers of India, almost 10% to the India's GDP. Next big news item for today is the Trump has again threatened, Mr. Donald Trump, who is the US president, he has threatened the World Health Organization that either you substantially reform yourself or they are going to cut their funding. Okay, so US will make permanent funding cuts if it did not commit to major substantial reform in next 30 days. Already US has stopped the funding of WHO temporarily, saying that it has mishandled the COVID-19 situation. One more angle which is coming in this is the WHO's funding and relationship with China. Okay. Another part of news which was not in the newspaper, but we have picked it up. Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the Union Health Minister, he has become the chairman of WHO Executive Board. Okay. This post is held by rotation among the regional groups. 73rd meeting happened through online video conferencing. Usually it happens in Geneva of World Health Assembly. World Health Assembly is the body which makes the policies of WHO, appoints Director General, supervise the financial policy, and review and approve the proposed program budget. So this is the list of do's and don'ts, guys. This was all for today's current affairs. Please stay tuned and do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. We'll be back again with the current affairs material which is relevant for your examination. So thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching.